So, as you can see from the title, I am reviewing the first time a Two-Sun knife, I should say. I actually have another one. I'm not 100% sure I'm gonna do a video about it because I don't like it as much as I like this one. And I really don't wanna say anything bad because from what I'm seeing, this is the first time I've really done a Two-Sun knife. They are pretty good. So this is the TS-267 by Two-Sun. We are gonna get right into that, but first, if you're listening on headphones, turn down the volume because here comes the music. So this came in from Neve. Hang on a second. This came in from Jared over at Neve's Knives, and when he sent it to me, I was like, okay. First, I'd handled a couple Two-Sun knives when they first started coming out. I saw a couple, and I was kind of on the fence. The ones that I saw were kind of like, they were not really great designs. They were a lot like some of these companies that started making knives. The owners designed some knives, and they really weren't knives that kind of hit the mark for me. So I was just kind of on the fence about doing it, but then I got this one. And you guys know I don't like top flippers or front flippers. This is a front flipper, I guess you call it. But this is a very well done knife. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a good look at this Two-Sun TS-267. Now I am still trying to find out the designer on this. So I've got most of the specs. I will find the designer before we meet down at the counter. So by the time you guys get down there, I will have already found that information. So I'll meet you there. All right, guys. So here's the knife. But I wanted to point out something to you guys. Before I forget, someone mentioned that they noticed that it appeared that I was wearing a different neck knife, one that did not look like my sea snake. And you're absolutely correct. I am currently wearing the first knife purchase I have made in a very long time, which is a Damascus and carbon fiber Ferrum Forge design Lackey. So they had these in. I have always wanted a Lackey. I didn't have the money the last time they came out, and these were cheap enough that I was like, you know what, I'm just going to use some of that YouTube money that has been coming in. So the YouTube channel purchased this. I will be doing a full review of this. This is not Damasteel. It is very similar, but like, take a quick look at it. You guys will be seeing an actual video about this. So let's go ahead and get into the Two-Sun TS-267. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at this. This is the TS-267 by Two-Sun Knives. This was designed by a gentleman, and I'm going to write it in here because I can't pronounce his name, but his name is Josh, and it looks like Dupuis. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm butchering it. But let's go ahead and take a look at it real quick first. So you got carbon fiber. It is a frame lock, but they call it a frame lock. It could be considered, I would almost call this a bolster lock. It's a frame lock, but it's not the entire frame. It's got an overlay. So you have this big bolster area, and then you have the equivalent to like a liner lock here. So I've always called those bolster locks. As you can see, it is a clip point buoy style blade, and it is attractive. Now, typically, I am not a very big fan of these top flippers because they have a tendency to not work out real well for me in a frame lock. But this is kind of along those lines of the EWC, where there's no real lock bar I'm putting pressure on. This is a very comfortable knife in hand, and it's attractive. Just the way it was made is attractive. I do have a couple problems with it. We'll get into them in a bit, but let's first go ahead and start going through some specs. So this is titanium and carbon fiber, TS-267. Overall length on this is going to be right at 7.63 inches with a blade length of 3.3 4.31 inches with a closed length. And the only reason I'm mentioning closed length is because this is one of those weird ones where the numbers don't quite add up. So closed length on this is 4.45. So if you were to add closed length, open length, you should come pretty close to, if you add blade length and subtract overall length. How am I trying to say this? If you take the overall length and subtract the blade length, you should come pretty close to the closed length. This one's actually a little bit off because you have so much of a flipper tab sticking up. There's a bit of a flipper tab sticking up there because it's on top. Action on this is super, super smooth. So let's go ahead and we'll look at the actual overall length, 7.63, blade length 3.31, closed length 4.45. There, we've got those out of the way. The blade is in 14C28N, which is a great, great steel. A lot of people love it. It's one of those Sandvik steels. It came incredibly sharp from Neve, from Jared over there at Neve's Knives. So this is a nice knife. So as far as weight, it's 3.7 ounces is what they have listed. But let's go grab the scale and take a quick look. So let's get this. We'll bring the scale in and we'll get some weights. All right, we got the scale here. So in ounces, they say 3.7. So 3 5/8 ounces. Let's go ahead and switch that over to grams for those of you that don't use Freedom units. We will look at it in grams. That's 105 grams. It's not a real heavy knife. So we got specs out of the way, and I will put up the maker's name somewhere in the video so that you guys can see his actual name. I don't know why I moved that. So let's take a good look at it. This knife, I'm going to tell you guys, this knife, from what everyone has told me is, you know, originally they were saying, oh, Two Sons knives are just crappy. You know, they're not well built. I'd seen a couple, and my only issue, it was designs. I didn't like the designs, but this one is different. That blade is super, super attractive. It does not, it's a clip point, almost Bowie style, which some people really like. I like that aesthetic. Nice big belly, nice flat area from about here to here. Then you've got belly up to the tip for doing things where you might need the rounded area of the belly, nice flat for cutting line and things like that. Action is just really, really good on something like this. This is, for the price, the action on this is incredible. The top flipper works really well. The action on it's great. Finger flick's great. And then you have this. So you have that carbon fiber, attractively done carbon fiber, I should say. It's really well done. You barely feel the transition there. Maybe right there. Really well done. But then it's got the little window opened up in it where you can see the blade, and it just gives it a different aesthetic. Really, really attractive. All of the machining was done well. I like just the little spots on the pivot that they machined out. Pivot on this side, same, but it has like a Y pattern on it. All Torx construction. Nice looking hardware. The pocket clip. Pocket clip is okay. It's not great. It's one of the things that I don't like about it. It does detract from it. It is one of those ones that is a little proud and doesn't transition down real smooth real quickly. You can feel that pocket for that screw really well. And it doesn't come down. I wish it came down a little flatter to the scale. It would make it a lot more comfortable. It is a single point. There is some play. I mean, I can make any pocket clip move pretty much, but I see that becoming an issue and getting loose because it's in the carbon fiber and not in a metal liner or a metal frame. Lockup on it is great. There's no play on this knife. The pivot is great. And when I got it and I started playing with it, I was like, oh, it's got really, really smooth, free action. I was like, I bet that pivot's loose as crap. And I was like, man, there is no play. Nice thick blade stock. Could not find blade stock thickness on this. I apologize. I wish I could have found more specs. There was not much available online I could find about this. Here's the maker's logo. It's actually fairly nice logo, and there's the steel markings, but look at how that carbon fiber, how well it was done. So this, like I said, this knife's action is really good. Really surprised. This feels like a traditional slip joint folder that you would have bought, but it's a top flipper with a finger aperture. So I like how they maintain the shape. It gives it some consistency. I wish though that they had found a way to do it on this side as well. Because you guys know, like I always say, I like symmetry. So if there had been a spot back here, maybe found a different place for the pocket clip, you could have put a pocket clip at a different angle and things like that, and you would have had an opening. But that's just picking any aesthetics. I like symmetry. I wish there was just a little bit more to it, but you can see there's your lock bar. You wouldn't really have been able to do it very well. So jimping is, it's just basically there for the use of opening the knife. Once it's open, there's really nothing, there. It does have a flat spot. My friend Christian pointed out, he's like, I don't like how it's flat here. I was like, that really doesn't bother me. That flat spot there with the swell right here, and then the blade kind of sweeps up a little bit. I don't find anything wrong with it. I like how well the carbon fiber on this was done. So it does have a lock bar insert, ceramic detent. It feels, as I haven't had it apart yet, it looks as though they might be ceramic bearings in there. But I'm not going to go taking this knife apart if I don't have to, because the action on it is great. It doesn't need anything. Man, that action is great. And for me to like a top flipper is unusual. Top flipper, front flipper, I'm not such a fan of them unless they're in a liner lock configuration where I'm not putting tension on the lock bar when I'm trying to open it and then squishing that detent into where you got to fight it. No, this one has got enough of a spot here where I can get behind it. So take another good look at it. Two Sons has really, really been knocking out of the park. Like I said, there is another top flipper that Jared sent me that I'm not as enthused about. I have not decided if I'm going to do a video on it, because if I can't say anything nice about it, then I'm really not going to do a video about it, because with this being another representation of what they're doing, I don't think they deserve that. I just think it's not a model I like. This one I do. So let's go ahead and we'll do some final thoughts, and I'll tell you, hang on just a second. Let's do some size comparison. All right, let's start with the most popular banana for scale, which is the Sebenza 21. There's my full-size Sebenza. So you can see it's not a tiny knife, but it's not very big. It's a compact little package. So there's it compared to a Sebenza 21. And since you guys like to see it every once in a while, we're going to do another comparison to another knife that I own, which is the Riat Horizon D, which is a huge knife, to tell you the truth. You can see, but I just like to bring it out every once in a while because you guys do like to see it. So another carbon fiber and titanium knife. This is a large knife, still best production knife I've ever purchased. All right, let's go ahead and turn this around and we'll do some final thoughts on this knife. I'm sorry, I forgot. There was one last thing I wanted to talk about before I put this away, and this is 100% just because Chris and I just did it. Chris and I, over at Cerberus Knives, Christian Ortiz, who owns Cerberus Knives, got the idea that he wanted to do a collaboration giveaway. So this is going to be given away on his Instagram, Cerberus Knives on Instagram. I will try to put a link if I can remember down below. But what he did was he cut the actual rock pattern in and put the initial coat of ceramic on. I took off some of the black ceramic to allow that, but then I put a pattern on the knife. So as you can see, we have a honeycomb grid pattern on this knife. This is going to be a giveaway on his Instagram. We're going to do 2 of these, and they're both going to be different and unique. So if you don't follow Christian on Instagram, you probably should. This is going to be given away on his channel. As you can see, that rock pattern goes all the way up, and it's two-tone because we only took off enough of the black ceramic just to show the contrast. Sorry to step in on that, guys. So yeah, that last knife you guys just saw, the one that Christian and I did, is going to be fun. Overall, guys, this is a great little knife. It's really comfortable in hand. It's got the right dimensions for a knife this size. It's not too thick. It's not too narrow. The blade isn't too heavy. It's not, it just is pretty much a little Goldilocks top flipper. It falls right in the not too hard, not too soft, not too long, not too short kind of category. And I just really, I wish it was a flipper. I wish it was a flipper tab flipper, or just a aperture only flipper. Maybe a thumb stud if they could have done it. But hey, when it comes down to it, for $124, you're not looking at a bad knife at all. Good steel, quality materials, quality well made, $124. It's not super budget, but it's also not over the top expensive. And the choice of steel is really good, especially for outdoor enthusiasts. That is one of the Sandvik steels a lot of guys really, really, really like. And I'm a fan of it. I find it great. And that blade shape is just perfect. So the Tucson's TS-267, I wish they had a better name for it, but I mean, it's a great little knife. It's up there. It's on par with a lot of the other knives I've seen coming out from other companies that are in that realm of price and quality together. So QSP, Artisan, CGRB, Civivi coming out of WE, all those companies, they're just really, really doing a good job of presenting quality products to the market at a decent price. So not going to get into the whole China thing. Guys, got a new coffee cup. If you haven't seen it, you've probably been flipped off by it before, but you know, your sensitivity. Anyway, guys, great knife. Other stuff coming up on the channel. You're definitely going to see this. I have the new Ferrum Forge Prolix that I am currently trying to carry and rotate in so that I can do a video about that. And then I don't know what else is going to happen. So we are going to do another revisiting video of my Sea Snake because I've carried it so much since November that I think it needs a long-term use check on that to see how it's holding up. So other than that, guys, I love you all. Take it easy. If you like the videos, give them a thumbs up. If you don't like them, give them a thumbs down. Remember, you can join below to get entered into giveaways between the stuff I'm giving away to everyone, just all the subscribers, and the stuff that's going just to the members, the Stonefish. We're giving over $1,000 away this month, $1,000 worth of gear. So with that being said, guys, take it easy, and I'll see you in the next video. Forgot the remote.